Everything is your responsibility. There's this concept, it's called internal versus external locus of control. And internal locus of control is the belief system that you have that things happen based on the decisions that you make or don't make, that you have control over your life and your destiny. External locus of control is the idea that you are not responsible for your fate in life, that it's other people and nothing that you do actually matters. And what they find is that people who have an internal locus of control are happier, they have less psychological problems, they have better relationships, they make more money. Why would you then adopt an external locus of control? But furthermore, as a man, if you want to be in charge and you want that, you need to realize everything is your responsibility. If you are in charge of a family, everything that your wife does, everything that your children do is your responsibility. Now, I had this discussion with a friend of mine who happened to be previously in the military, and he said, not the Marine Corps, and he said, oh, well, my wife is an autonomous individual. I can't control her. Now, first of all, that's not true. It's not true because people are making decisions based on the decisions that you make. You can't maybe necessarily force them to do things, but based on who you are and how you act and your decisions that you've made will determine how they then act. So if you want your children to see you, as I've talked about before, as in charge, then were you a leader the rest of the time, right? Were you actually taking your children under your wing and teaching them and leading them and being a father to them? If you weren't, yeah, they're probably not going to listen to what you have to say when you want something from them all of a sudden and then you're telling them, no, do as I say. Same with the wife. If you were showing weakness with the complaining and the needing approval from others and the neediness and all of the things that I've talked about, yeah, she probably won't do what you say and she probably will leave you or cheat on you. The reason, what the discussion I had is he said, well, she's an autonomous individual. And I said, well, if you were a platoon leader, meaning you take a platoon and you're the one in charge, and one of your guys got in trouble, and you said, hey, it's not my fault. I didn't tell him to do it, this, that, and the other. You would no longer be in that position. They'd say, well, if you're telling me it's not your responsibility, then guess what? You're not to be in this position. You can't decide you want to be in charge, but then also decide that those things aren't your responsibility. Responsibility and being in charge are 100% linked. They are intrinsically linked. You cannot have one without the other. You cannot be in charge and accept the good things without also accepting the bad. So everything is your responsibility, even if you literally have no control over a situation. Say, you're stopped at a stoplight and someone smashes into the back of your car and you say, well, see, I couldn't control that. Maybe not, but you're responsible for what you do next. How do you handle it? Do you beat the guy up and go to jail or go to prison? Do you get his insurance information? Do you allow yourself to freak out? I mean, you are responsible then for how you handle it. Same thing. I mean, you could say, well, what guys will do is they will They will say that it's not their responsibility. Instead of taking responsibility, what they'll do is they'll say that, say their wife or their girlfriend are just inherently bad, which isn't true because it's interesting. Notice how she didn't act that way with another guy, but she's acting that way with you. Or notice that it's only your girlfriends that cheated on you, none did with me, or so on and so forth. And what it is they would rather believe that there's just something inherently wrong with their wife and their kids and the people around them, so that they don't have to admit that they are fucking up. They are doing these dumb fucking shit of self-deprecating, complaining, seeking approval from others, and they are almost damn near forcing her to leave them or cheat on them or their children not to respect them. And then they don't want to have to make the changes or feel bad about it. So they say, oh, well, it's not me. It's not my responsibility. They're their own people. But again, as I said, if you were a platoon leader and you said some dumb shit like that, they'd take you out of the position. You would no longer be a platoon leader. Everything is your responsibility as a man. The finances are your responsibility. If your wife gets into a car accident, why weren't you driving? Your children, their performance at school, why weren't you helping them with their homework? Why didn't you put them in summer school? Why, everything is your responsibility, because at the end of the day, there is always some action that you can do. And even if there is no action that you can do, there's always something that you can do in response to it. The way that you can fix it or how you handle it. But as the man, in order to say I'm a man, you also have to say that everything is my responsibility. Everything. Every single solitary thing in my life that involves me or around me, or everything is my responsibility. Not someone else's, mine. You do not get to claim I'm in charge, I'm a man, and then not have the responsibility.